Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today we're going to be looking at something that's become so integral to our lives. We kind of almost forget it's there.
Yeah,
Technology,
it really is everywhere.
it really is.
Yeah.
We'll be exploring how it shapes everything from, our morning routine to our work days to our health, even our relationships.
Yeah, it's easy to focus on the obvious ways technology impacts us, right?
Right.
But you know what I always find fascinating is how it, subtly influences our choices
Oh, totally.
and behaviors in ways we might not even realize.
Like we're living in a science fiction novel that we wrote ourselves,
Yeah,
except we're still figuring out the plot as we go.
exactly.
So let's start with something we can all relate to.
Okay.
For those first few minutes of the day, I don't know about you, but my alarm clock is now my cone, and it's usually accompanied by a symphony of notifications and emails before I even open my eyes.
Oh, yeah, it's become the norm for so many of us.
Hasn't it?
But even as technology kind of bombards us first thing in the morning,
Yeah.
it's also offering up some really cool alternatives.
Okay.
One of the sources we're diving into today talks about the rise of smart lights that simulate a sunrise,
Oh.
gently easing you awake.
That's so much better than being jolted awake by a jarring alarm. It's like having a personal sunrise on demand. And then, of course, there's the tech that helps streamline our morning routines even further. I can't imagine starting my day without my programmable coffee maker.
Absolutely. And before we even get to that first cup of coffee, many of us are already strapping on our fitness trackers,
Oh, yeah,
which have become like personal data hubs
totally.
right on our wrists.
It's true.
They track our sleep, our activity levels, heart rate. We're getting a snapshot of our health before we've even fully woken up.
That's pretty incredible how much information we have in our fingertips. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
let's move on to how technology impacts our work lives. It's been a game changer in so many ways, especially for those of us who work remotely.
Huge game changer. Think about how we rely on tools like project management software,
Right.
video conferencing, instant messaging.
It's how we stay connected.
Exactly. Without these technologies, the modern workplace, especially remote work,
Oh, absolutely.
would be almost unimaginable.
We're recording this deep dive remotely right now, and it wouldn't be possible without a rock-solid internet connection.
You got it.
Reliable Wi-Fi is the lifeblood of the modern worker, but it's not all sunshine and roses, is it?
It's not always easy.
I have to admit, sometimes I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle against online distractions.
Oh, tell me about it.
Those cute cat videos can
Oh.
be a real productivity killer.
You're not alone there. It's a common struggle. And while technology has undoubtedly made us more efficient in many ways,
Yeah.
it's also created this pressure to be constantly connected, always available.
Always on call.
Exactly. The never-ending stream of notifications, the expectation to respond instantly,
Oh, yeah.
it can lead to burnout and just a feeling of being overwhelmed.
It's definitely a double-edged sword. We have all this amazing technology at our disposal, but it's up to us to figure out how to use it in a way that enhances our lives, not dictates them. So let's dive into an area that I find particularly fascinating, the intersection of technology and health.
Okay.
I'm constantly amazed by how technology is transforming the way we approach healthcare.
Oh, it's a rapidly evolving field and one that holds immense potential. We're seeing wearables go beyond simple step counting,
Yeah.
evolving into sophisticated devices that track everything from heart rate variability to sleep stages and even blood oxygen levels. It's almost like having a personal health coach
Right on your wrist.
right there on your wrist.
And then there's telemedicine, which has really taken off, especially in the wake of the pandemic.
Oh, absolutely.
The ability to consult with a doctor from the comfort of your own home is a game changer,
Absolutely.
especially for people in rural areas
Right.
or those with limited mobility. Have you seen how telemedicine is even being used to provide mental health services?
It's remarkable. The increased access to mental health care that telemedicine provides is a significant step forward.
For sure.
However, it's important to remember that there are still questions,
Oh,
you know,
oh yeah.
about the effectiveness and ethical considerations surrounding the use of technology
Right.
in mental health treatment.
It's a great point. Technology, it's full of these trade-offs, isn't it?
It is.
It's this powerful tool with so much potential, but we need to be thoughtful about how we wield it. I'm curious to hear what you think about this next topic, because it's one that often sparks debate how technology impacts our relationships. On the one hand, we have this incredible ability to connect with people across the globe,
Yeah.
share experiences instantly, and even find romantic partner through dating apps.
Oh, yeah.
But on the other hand, you see couples sitting across from each other at dinner,
Oh,
both glued to their phones, or families ignoring each other during a meal because they're all scrolling through social media.
it's a complex issue, and I think you've hit the nail on the head. Technology can be a powerful tool for connection,
Yeah,
but it can also become a barrier if we're not careful.
100%.
One of the articles we reviewed for this deep dive highlighted a study that found that even the mere presence of a phone on the table during a conversation can decrease feelings of empathy and connection between people.
Wow, that's really eye-opening. It's like we're so used to having these devices at our fingertips, we don't even realize how they might be affecting our interactions.
We don't?
It seems like the key is to be more intentional about how and when we use technology, especially in social settings. We should be using it to enhance our connections,
Yes.
not replace them.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that's a perfect segue into the next part of our conversation where we'll explore some practical tips for managing our tech use and finding a healthier balance of our digital lives. But before we move on to that, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What resonate the most with you so far about the role of technology in your own life? What are some of the biggest challenges you face or the most surprising things you've learned about your own relationship with tech? We'll be back after a short break to continue the conversation.
Sounds good.
You know, it's fascinating how this whole conversation about technology and well-being keeps evolving.
Yeah,
Like, it's not just about tracking our steps or calories anymore.
it really isn't.
It seems like tech is becoming more and more intertwined with our mental
Right.
and emotional health, too.
Totally. Like, there's been a huge surge in apps for mindfulness,
Oh, yeah.
medication,
Definitely.
and even therapy delivered through like virtual platforms.
It's incredible. While this has the potential to make mental health resources way more accessible.
I was going to say, especially for people who might not have access
Yeah.
to traditional therapy.
Yeah, but it also raises some big questions, you know?
Yeah, like, are these apps really effective?
Right.
Can they actually replace that face-to-face interaction with a therapist?
Yeah, and what about the privacy and security of our most personal thoughts and feelings being shared in the digital world?
That's a great point.
It's so crucial to be discerning
Yeah,
when it comes to these apps and to remember that they're tools that can supplement traditional therapy,
right.
but not necessarily replace it entirely.
I think it also raises the issue of, like, how we view mental health itself.
Oh, interesting.
Is technology helping to destigmatize mental health issues
Yeah,
by making resources more accessible, or is it contributing to a culture where we're expected to constantly optimize and track every aspect of ourselves,
that's a great question.
including our mental state?
Yeah, it seems like we're walking this tightrope between empowerment and potential pressure.
Totally.
And this kind of ties into another trend
Okay.
that's shaping our relationship with technology.
Okay.
Personalization.
Oh, yeah.
Algorithms are becoming more and more sophisticated
It's true.
at tailoring content,
Mm-hmm.
recommendations, and even news feeds
Yeah.
to our individual preferences.
It's like our technology is starting to know us better than we know ourselves.
Isn't that wild?
It's amazing and a little bit unsettling.
A little bit creepy.
Yeah.
Right. But on the one hand, this personalized approach could be super helpful.
For sure.
It could help us discover new music or books we might enjoy, connect with like-minded people, and even streamline our daily tasks. But on the other hand, it can also create these filter bubbles
Oh,
where
yeah.
we're only exposed to information that confirms our existing beliefs.
So we're not getting those challenging perspectives that help us grow and learn.
Exactly. We could end up in an echo chamber of our own biases without even realizing it.
It's like being in a room with mirrors,
That's a good way to put it.
just seeing reflections of our own perspective. That's why I think digital literacy is becoming so crucial.
Absolutely.
We need to be able to critically evaluate information,
Yes.
discern fact from fiction,
Right.
and navigate the digital landscape with awareness and intention.
It's like we need a whole new set of skills for this digital age.
Right.
It's not just about knowing how to use the latest gadgets.
Okay.
It's about understanding the underlying algorithms,
Oh, for sure.
the potential biases, and the impact that technology is having on our lives
Totally.
and on society as a whole.
All this talk about digital literacy and the evolving landscape of technology makes me wonder, what does the future hold?
What a great question.
What are some of the emerging trends that you think will have a big impact on our lives in the years to come?
Well, one area that's really exciting
Okay.
and maybe a bit daunting is the rise of AI.
Oh, yeah. Artificial intelligence?
It's already being integrated into so many aspects of our lives,
Totally.
from voice assistants and personalized recommendations
Everywhere.
to medical diagnoses and self-driving cars.
Wow.
And its influence is only going to expand in the coming years.
It's mind-blowing to think about the potential of AI to, like, solve complex problems, revolutionize industries.
Yeah.
Even reshape the way we live and work. But it also raises some ethical concerns,
Huge ethical concerns.
doesn't it?
As AI becomes more sophisticated,
Right.
we need to be really thoughtful about its development and deployment.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that AI is used responsibly and ethically,
Absolutely.
that it benefits all of humanity,
Yes.
and that it doesn't worsen existing inequalities
Right.
or create new ones.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
It does, doesn't it?
We have this incredible technology with the potential to do so much good, but we also have a responsibility to guide its development and ensure that it aligns with our values.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it. It's not about rejecting technology or fearing progress. It's about embracing innovation while also being mindful of its impact
Right.
and shaping it in a way that serves humanity.
That brings us back to the heart of our conversation today, the importance of being mindful and intentional in our relationship with technology.
Couldn't agree more. It's not about demonizing technology or trying to live off the grid.
Right.
It's about finding a balance that works for each of us,
Yeah.
embracing the benefits while also setting boundaries
Right.
and prioritizing our well-being.
And recognizing that our relationship with technology is constantly evolving.
It is.
What works for us today might need to be adjusted tomorrow
Exactly.
as technology keeps advancing and our lives continue to change.
That's so true. It's an ongoing process of learning, adapting, and finding what feels right for each of us and for society as a whole.
Oh, that's,
We have more power than we realize. We can choose how technology fits into our lives.
yeah.
We can set boundaries, curate our experiences, and use it as a tool to enhance our lives rather than letting it dictate them.
So it's not about being anti-technology. It's about being pro-humanity.
I love that. That's a great way to put it. It's about reclaiming our agency, making conscious choices, and shaping the future of technology in a way that aligns with our values and aspirations.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the importance of digital balance. We've talked about the downsides of constant connectivity and the need to set boundaries, but what are some practical strategies for actually disconnecting
Yeah.
and creating healthier tech habits?
Well, one strategy that's often overlooked is simply being more mindful of our tech use.
Okay.
Instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media or checking our phones every few minutes,
Oh, yeah.
we can pause and ask ourselves, why am I reaching for my phone right now? What am I hoping to get out of this? How is this making me feel?
It's like taking a step back and observing our behavior,
Exactly.
becoming more aware of our patterns and motivations.
Right, and once we have that awareness,
Yeah.
we can start to make more conscious choices.
Totally. We can start to identify the triggers that lead us to overuse technology
Yes,
and develop strategies for managing those urges.
exactly. Like, for example, if you're constantly checking social media,
Guilty.
you might try deleting the app from your phone for a while or setting specific times a day when you allow yourself to check it.
I've actually started leaving my phone in another room when I'm working on a project or spending time with family.
That's great,
It's amazing how much more focused and present I feel
I bet.
when I'm not constantly tempted to check notifications.
That's a fantastic strategy, and it highlights the importance of creating those tech-free zones in our lives.
Yeah.
Whether it's a certain time of day, a specific room in your home, or even an entire day dedicated to unplugging,
Right.
having those designated spaces where technology is off limits
Yeah.
can be incredibly restorative.
It's like giving ourselves permission to disconnect and recharge.
Absolutely, and it doesn't have to be anything drastic.
No.
Even small changes like putting your phone on airplane mode while you're eating dinner or reading a book
Totally.
can make a difference.
For sure, another helpful tip is to be more intentional about the content you consume online.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Unfollow accounts that make you feel stressed or inadequate,
Definitely.
and seek out content that inspires, educates, or brings you joy. It's about curating your digital space
Yeah,
to reflect your values and priorities.
it's about taking control
Right.
of your digital world.
It's easy to get caught up in the negativity or comparison traps that social media can sometimes create,
Oh, for sure.
but we have the power to choose what we allow into our digital lives.
100%. And don't underestimate the power of nature.
Oh, I love that.
Spending time outdoors, disconnecting from screens, and reconnecting with the physical world can do wonders
Absolutely.
for our mental and emotional well-being.
There's something so grounding and restorative about being in nature.
Isn't there?
It helps us to slow down, reconnect with ourselves, and gain a fresh perspective.
And sometimes the best way to reset our relationship with technology is to just unplug completely.
Oh, yeah.
For a while.
Like a digital detox?
Yeah, go off the grid.
Yeah.
Give yourself permission to disconnect. Even a short break can be incredibly refreshing, and it can help us to appreciate the benefits of technology even more when we come back to it.
It's like hitting the refresh button
Exactly.
on our digital lives.
Yes.
And it reminds us that we have the power to choose how technology fits into our lives,
Exactly.
rather than letting it control us.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that brings us to our final segment where we'll explore how technology shapes our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. But first, we want to hear from you. What are some strategies you use to manage your tech use and maintain that balance? Share your thoughts, and we'll be right back after a short break.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the role of technology in daily life. We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we?
We have, from the ways tech shapes our mornings to its impact on our work health and relationships.
And some pretty deep questions about digital balance, the evolving landscape of well-being and the ethics of AI and all that. It's clear that technology is a powerful force in our lives, one that's always changing
Constantly.
and shaping the world around us. But in the midst of all this change,
Yeah,
I think it's important to remember that we're not just passengers.
you're so right. We have agency. We have choices. We have the power to shape our relationship with
To
technology.
make it work for us.
Exactly, in a way that aligns with our values and goals.
That's an empowering message. It's not about rejecting technology or fearing progress.
No, not at all.
It's about being mindful, intentional, proactive in how we integrate it into our lives.
I love that. One of the key takeaways I hope people get from this deep dive is the importance of balance.
Balance is key.
It's about embracing the possibilities technology offers while setting boundaries, disconnecting when needed, and prioritizing real-world connections.
Because those are the connections that truly nourish us.
They really are.
We've talked a lot about the downsides of constant connectivity, but it's crucial to remember that technology can also be a powerful tool for good.
Oh, absolutely.
It can connect us with loved ones across the globe, provide access to information and resources.
And even help us to better understand ourselves and the world around us.
It's all about finding that sweet spot where technology enhances our lives without overwhelming us, and recognizing that our relationship with technology is a journey, not a destination.
So sure.
It's something we'll continue to navigate and adapt to as technology evolves and our lives change.
The constant evolution.
A continuous process of learning, experimenting, and finding what works best for each of us.
Exactly.
And as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah?
we want to leave you with one final thought-provoking question to ponder.
What's one small change you can make today to improve your relationship with technology?
I like that.
Maybe it's setting a screen time limit, disconnecting an hour before bed, or being more mindful of your phone use during social interactions.
Start small, experiment, and find what works for you.
And remember, you're not alone in this journey.
We're all in this together.
We're all navigating this exciting, challenging, and ever-evolving world of technology together.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it's sparked some new insights, questions, and maybe even a few aha moments. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep exploring the amazing world around you, both online and offline.